Hello, welcome to Skye's Daydreams. Today we will be customizing this blank Barbie Extra Mini doll mentioned in my previous video. Just like the Dandelion Fairy, I sketched out a concept for her character. She will be a fairy based on the Gypsy mushroom, an edible, cream to light tan colored fungi that grows in the woods in late summer and autumn, which makes this the perfect September doll. She will have a mushroom hat, a simple white dress with a ruffled top to reference the mushroom stem, brown braided hair, and round brown eyes. She will be a wingless fairy because, well, mushrooms grow on the forest floor, often hidden in the damp shady areas, so flying doesn't really come to mind when I think of a mushroom being a character. First thing to do is pop the head back onto the body and glue her scalp shut with fast grab tacky glue. With a simple neck peg like this, you don't have to soften up the vinyl head with heat. You can literally just twist it on like I just did. Next, I make her mushroom hat using foam clay. This was my first time using this stuff, so it took me a few tries before I got my desired shape. It was super satisfying and fun to work with. I highly recommend trying this out for yourself. For whatever reason, it didn't really work out for me to sculpt the gills. The clay was too squishy and kept losing its shape when I applied pressure to it, so I decided to carve in the gills with my micro polishing pen when the clay was dried. I will admit it's not the best thing to do, but it worked out for me. I saw other doll artists sculpt perfect mushroom gills with similar clay, so I guess I'll just have to practice a little more. When I finished sculpting, I set this aside to dry for 2 days. Once it's dried, I cut and sand away any lumps or imperfections as well as carve in the gill texture. Now we can paint it. I apply a layer of acrylic gesso first to prime and lighten the surface before going in with acrylic paints. To finish the hat, I glue in a thin ribbon to tie to the doll's head later. The dress was made with 4 simple shapes out of the thinnest fabric I could find in my stash and sewn by hand, which was not fun at all. I sealed the raw edges with Mod Podge and glued on the same ribbon for the straps and to hide the raw edges where I sewed on the ruffle. I left the back open because I will sew the doll into the dress just like I did with the previous one. Since she is a grounded fairy, let's make her some shoes. Trying to make them removable for such a tiny scale would be a pain, not to mention easy to lose if they fell off, so I decided to also make them permanent just like the dress. I make her simple flats by applying a few layers of Mod Podge to cover up the sculpt of the toes, and I paint them with acrylic paint. Now we can finally get to the face up. For the past 3 weeks it has been super windy, so I had to wait the whole time to paint her face. I do not have a ventilated indoor place to spray the sealant, so I'm completely weather dependent for when I can do face ups. As usual, I sprayed a layer of Mr. Super Clear to prime the surface and used soft pastels for blushing and shading and watercolor pencils to draw the face. The original sculpt of this doll has almond-shaped eyes, but the character in my concept has round eyes, so I draw them well outside the sculpt this time. I left the pupils out for this character because, I don't know, it just feels more fungusy to me. I feel like it also just adds more depth and interest to her character as well. Unfortunately, my small brush is starting to go bad. As you can see here, the bristles are starting to split and make it really difficult to paint tiny details. Thankfully, gouache paint reactivates when it comes into contact with water, so I was able to clean it up with no problem. Time to invest in a new brush, I guess. To finish up her face, I add all the highlights with white, sharpen up the features with black, and add last-minute blushing and shading with pastels. After the final layer of MSC, we can add some gloss, and that completes the face. For her hair, I made some acrylic yarn wefts and glue them directly to the doll's head like usual. I'm taking a different approach this time. Normally I glue the hair in a spiral until I get to the top, but since she will have pigtails, I want her to have a perfect part. I begin gluing the wefts at the part first, then work my way in a spiral around one side of the head, braid it, then repeat the same step on the other side. And voila, a perfect part. Now we can sew her into the dress. Tie on the hat and call the doll finished. Meet Gypsy the Mushroom Fairy. Unlike outgoing Tara, who likes the sun and open fields, Gypsy is a shy girl who prefers staying under the canopies of the forest. She spends her time caring for all the little critters on the ground that bigger people tend to overlook and forget about. While she may appear quiet and reserved, Gypsy's a sweet and loyal friend once she gets to know you. Overall, I'm happy with how this doll turned out. However, one thing I noticed is that the hat does not sit well on her head after doing the hair. So one thing I would do differently is make and style the hair first, then cover it in saran wrap and sculpt the hat over it. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the process of this character's creation, give it a like and leave a comment below. If you would like to see more doll customs from me in the future, consider subscribing. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!